Is astrology a guide to aid us in mastering the universe? This is the Cosmic Community Podcast with Galactic Ambassador Stacey Dredd.
This astrology report is for the week of July 23rd, and we are coming off of that big full moon in Capricorn. How did that go? That was the second of two full moons in Capricorn. That's right. Every calendar year, we get a repeated full moon in one astrological sign. So this year, 2024, it was two full moons in Capricorn, and it just came at this really heated time we had a grand trine in fire that was really created last week. We had the planets of Venus, the planet of Venus and the luminary, the moon, just playing around with the nodes of fate, playing around in the pool of destiny there. And so much going on. There is also just this feeling of urgency with the planet of Neptune, 29 degrees of Pisces. This is the very last degree. 29 degrees of Pisces is the very last degree of the entire zodiac, of the whole wheel. And so we start things off at 0 degrees of Aries, and we finish things at 29 degrees of Pisces. And right now, Neptune, a slower moving planet, a very interesting energy that is a mix of complete spirituality, complete release and surrender to that greater power, whatever that is for you. Neptune represents the connection with that greater source, with that greater power, that spirituality essence. There's also a sense of extreme creativity. Neptune rules the arts and our playful mind when it comes to creating and being inspired and being innovative. Neptune really rules a lot of that activity, and this is also a place where things become quite blurry. Neptune tends to blur things out. There's no real details when you're working with Neptune. And I bring this up because this is just a really strong energy overall right now, this 29 degrees of Neptune. And we have Neptune now retrograding back into Pisces, never made it into Aries, went to 29 degrees and 53 seconds, which is just 7 seconds short of that 0 degrees Aries point. So literally smelling the finish line, and then now is retrograding, returning back into that deep pool, that ocean of emotion of which is Pisces, making sure that we have reached the completion points that we need to in order to start fresh again. So there's still some time for Neptune's transit here in Pisces, and we're not going to see Neptune actually pop into Aries until 2025. So this is an ongoing energy. There could just be literally for the next 8 to 9 months before Neptune reaches that new phase, that new zodiac sign, just this overarching sense of urgency. Have I taken care of everything that I needed to? It's that feeling that when you leave the house, did I turn the stove off? Did I lock the fence so that the dog can't get out? Did I close the garage door? It's like really kind of important things that we are continuing to finish up and and there's this sense of this like we've kind of forgotten something, and there's just something there that needs to, in the back of our mind, that needs that completion. So we're going to be working with this energy. And as we move into this week, we have the moon in that sign of Pisces. And the moon is going to be making a conjunction over the next 2 days with Saturn in Pisces and that Neptune in Pisces. So just more of these 12th house vibes coming in. Have I completed the things that I need to? There is this sense that, yes, we can see that newer thing in the future, and that we need to buckle up tie up all the loose ends now. So Pisces moon is very sensitive. It's an escape energy, which Neptune also is, and Pisces is ruled by the planet of Neptune. So with Saturn, Neptune, and the moon here in Pisces for the next couple of days, we're going to be feeling strongly our emotions. We're going to be feeling a little extra sensitive. This is a softer, more feminine energy. This is a watery energy. We could just feel like we're even a little bit tired. There's been a lot going on. So there could be this sense of like, I'm just overstimulated and I need to dive deep into that ocean where, when you go underwater and everything's just quiet. It's this really beautiful place of stillness. And so whatever we can do over the next couple of days to indulge this a little bit, I think may be good, escaping, retreating. If you have really important things going on, that might not be the best way to take care of things. If you are trying to move forward in certain ways, something happens and you just feel like retreating, like just being aside from that can be a healthy thing, because we do need space and time, but we definitely want to make sure that we are not just running away and retreating when life is requiring us to step up. There is also a healthy amount of Gemini air energy around this week. It's very busy. It's very mental, this Gemini energy, and that is because we have just had the planet of Mars, our physical body, our warrior spirit, the attitude of like the stuff that we wake up every day and we're gonna just like go get it. We're gonna go get life. That's the Mars energy. That's the fighter in us. Mars has just entered Gemini, and this is gonna be a longer transit. Couple of months is what Mars spends in every sign. So the physical body, the warrior spirit, is getting very mental. It's getting very busy. And also the planet of Jupiter is there in Gemini, heightening things, blowing up everything Gemini. Gemini can bring on so many opportunities with Jupiter there. Jupiter is the planet that brings on opportunities, and Gemini is the sign that really likes options. So this can feel really nice. It's like, oh, I've just been offered some things, and it can be a lot of different things coming in from different areas, almost like that overstimulation factor. But things come in with Gemini energy, not to only give us opportunities, but to also inform us. Gemini energy is all about information, collecting data. We have a big overinflated, overamplified Gemini energy right now with Mars and Jupiter there. They're the biggest energies really in the zodiac as far as just kind of outward energy goes. So we can see a lot of people being very Gemini-y, just chatty, wanting to have conversation, wanting to flush out ideas, wanting to tell you all of their ideas. People could just be calling, texting with, hey, I was just like thinking about this and I just really wanted to tell you my idea. There's going to be a lot of ideas flowing all over the place, and this is also going to be stimulated by the movement of the planet of Mercury on July 25th into the sign of Virgo. We have had Mercury in Leo And this is a fiery place. We talk about things we're really passionate about. When Mercury, the planet of our mind and communication, is in Leo. Whenever it's in a fire sign, we tend to just be more expressive, share more thoughts and more ideas, as fire signs are more external. And now we're going to have that external Mercury been flying through the sign of Leo start to slow down. Mercury is now in a shadow phase, which means that Mercury is now slowing down for the this year. There's 4 Mercury retrogrades this year, so this is, I think, the third of those 4, and this is going to be Mercury going to be moving into Virgo, but then also retrograding back into the sign of Leo. So this is a multiple sign retrograde going to be affecting these areas of your life, this area of your birth chart. You can check out where those first degrees of Virgo, later degrees of Leo are, and you can see where the work is going to be and what kind of work is going to be entailed over the next few weeks for you during the Mercury retrograde. But it's also a time when Mercury is in shadow to pay attention. To pay attention. There is this effect of Mercury retrograde where we're going to have to go back and edit things. We're going to have to go back and redo some things because when Mercury is in shadow, we tend to make mistakes. We tend to look over things. We tend to not see things exactly how we need to be seeing them. So when the retrograde takes place, the planet actually stops and moves back in the zodiac so that we can take a fresh look at those areas, and then it actually stops again and is going to move over that same section a third time so that we can then make those edits, make those repairs, fix it, and then Mercury can move on out of that phase into fresh territory. But right now, pay attention. We are, I hate to say it, but we are making mistakes. We are not quite on our mental game. Things are slowing down a little bit. We've been really passionate and overly expressive even in Leo. There's a drama to Leo energy that comes in. So we've been communicating very dramatically and thinking dramatic things. And Virgo is an earth sign. So this is where the mind gets grounded. And Virgo likes to clean things up. Virgo likes to detoxify things. Virgo likes to put things in order where it needs to be. And it also likes to make things a little more routine so that that things aren't out of control in that fiery sign sense. In an earth sign, we want things to be more structured. And so Mercury, our communication, our mind, moving into this more structured zone, but going to be in a couple of weeks moving back into Leo, back into that fiery dramatic phase to clean things up, and then we'll be able to move forward. So we'll be talking more about this Mercury retrograde as we move forward, but just pay attention because we are deep in Leo season now. The sun has just entered Leo, but we're deep already because Mercury and Venus went there first. Now the sun joining those 2 planets in Leo. Leo is the sign of the lion. Leo is a loyal energy. Leo is the hearth fire. This is the home. This is the heart. The actual heart in our body is ruled by the sign of Leo. So as far as like medical things go, you can tend to be more, there can be things come up involving the heart or that mid part of your chest. So paying attention to heart matters, making sure that you are breathing in and out of your heart to air all that stuff out. And things could start feeling a little stucky because of this Mercury slowing down. And then now the sun is going to be moving through Leo. We have already been there with our heart and our mind. And now that identity, that personal ego, which the sun represents, is going to move through and start to pick out the pieces of Leo season. What is it that we need to do to focus on our passions more? What is it that we need to do to keep that hearth fire lit inside of us? Also in our home, in our relationships, in our life in general. What do we need to do to make sure that we are focused on the things that feed that inner spirit, that feed that inner fire, that feed our heart? Leo is like this really interesting sign, ruled by the sun. And the sun, of course, is the hottest, most, the energy we rely upon the most. So Leo is that central part, that central home, that central part of our home that we go to, that we rely upon. There is a sense of Leo, as I mentioned, that makes them very loyal. So this is a fixed energy. This is a fixed sign where it can be very kind of in that stuck feeling like, nope, this is what I'm loyal to, this is what I'm passionate about, and this is where I will stay. There is a sense of that there with Leo because of that sign being a fixed energy. And this is affecting other fixed energy signs also. Like Scorpio can really feel that in a square to Leo. Aquarius, another fixed sign, opposing Leo. So when we work with Leo energy or any energy in the zodiac, we also work with the opposing energy. Leo opposes Aquarius, and we have Pluto making an epic transition into Aquarius over the next several months also. Pluto is another slow-moving planet. And when Pluto moves from one sign to the next, we get a total shift of focus. We get a shift of basically just kind of the zeitgeist, it's like a generational fix. And so we move into new energy here. And with Pluto just dipping into Aquarius, we are feeling Aquarius, which is independence, freedom, individuality, doing things our own way, flushing things out and making sure that things are perfectly blessed up and in the place that they need to be when we leave them. It's the water bearer. This is the ultimate like blessed up energy. And so this is going to be the next phase for Pluto. We've spent 18 years with Pluto in Capricorn, which has been heavy. And now we're going to be lifted onto the wings of Aquarius here with Pluto over the next couple of dozen years. And so that should be interesting to follow. We're tapping into that here with all of this Leo energy opposing Aquarius. And as all these planets have come into Leo, they have made their opposition with Pluto, made some type of transition, totally transformed themselves. Pluto represents transformation completely. So then also another energy to point out for this week is Chiron. Chiron is the wounded healer. Chiron's not a planet. Chiron is an asteroid and is a big energy when it comes to our wounds. So we carry with us, all of us carry with us those wounds from past lives, karmic wounds, familial wounds, wounds that are passed down to us that we don't even know through our karma and through our family lines. This is also a place where we learn to master these wounds. It can be very hard to face this tough stuff. Pluto, deep, dark shadow areas. Chiron, the wounds in our life. So we have a lot of interplay coming through here, dealing with our wounds, dealing with our shadow areas this week. And it's just already so mental and so busy and so exploded within our mind and our communication in Gemini that we can tend to overthink and overanalyze and just like really beat a dead horse horse when it comes to talking about things or thinking about things. So be on top of your mental state, whatever it is that you need to do to clear your mind, whether that's long walks in nature or hugging a tree or spitting into the fire or just, shaking your entire body like a dog does. My acupuncturist is amazing at Mountain View Acupuncture, and she mentioned to me that dogs do that shake because it actually resets their entire nervous system. So if you feel like your nervous system is going off kilter, going out of whack, do those things that you need to do. Hold those yoga postures, do that rhythmic breathing, and just a short time taking care of yourself and taking care of your body can really, really help the collective. And I just wanted to end on a quote from Albert Einstein. And this was actually inspired by the previous show, the Pioneers program that's played right before me. I really love it, but I want to read this quote about the interrelatedness of all of us and all of our lives. A human being is part of a whole, called by us the universe, a part limited in time and space. He experiences himself, his thoughts and feelings, as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. The striving to free oneself from this delusion is the one issue of true religion. Not to nourish the delusion, but to try to overcome it is the way to reach the attainable measure of peace of mind. And that is from a note that Albert Einstein wrote to Robert S. Marcus on the 12th of February, 1950. So thank you so much for being tuned in, and I hope that you were able to glean something good off of this program today in order to live your most benevolent life. And I just wish you the very best. Take care. Peace.
Thank you for listening to the Cosmic Community Podcast. More can be found at kpov.org/thecosmiccommunity.